And now that India has watched the international community do absolutely zero to punish Israel or stop the genocide in Gaza, Kashmiri leaders are now sounding the alarm. A warning that was given added emphasis last week when Indian soldiers tortured 3 civilians to death in the Muslim-majority territory. The Modi regime figures that if Israel can get away with murder in territory it illegally occupies, then so can India. It's also important to understand that whereas the Gaza genocide has mobilized millions of Europeans and Americans into joining the Boycott Israel movement, the same genocide has inspired millions of Hindu nationalists to dream about mass murdering Muslims in India, Kashmir, and Palestine.
धार्मिक मान्यताओं के साथ हमें इजराइल में बसने की सुविधा दे, क्योंकि जिस बीमारी से वो लड़ रहे हैं, मानवता के जिस कैंसर से वो लड़ रहे हैं, हम पिछले 1400 सालों से उस कैंसर के पीड़ित हैं.
Indian government, Hindu nationalist leaders and the Indian news media are working together to use Hamas resistance operations against Israel as a means to stoke Hindu victimhood by claiming India and Israel share a common enemy and a common cultural threat, Islam and Muslims.
The same radical, jihadist, Islamist, terrorist thinking that Israel is a victim of, we are a victim of as well. Israel is fighting this war on behalf of all of us. Israel is fighting this war for you and me.
As millions of Hindus are becoming radicalized by pro-Israel propaganda at home, hundreds of Indian Jews are migrating to Israel to join the Zionist army to hunt and kill Palestinians for sport. And we know that the very worst atrocities and massacres committed by Israeli forces in Gaza are being carried out by ultra-religious platoons and companies, including those containing Indian migrants and those who have been embedded with the Israeli military's notorious Golani Brigade, a crack unit that has been accused of deliberately murdering Palestinian women and children. And while these massacres are taking place, the Indian government is using its online troll army to help Israel with its propaganda efforts by producing and amplifying fake stories about Palestinians.
Today we're looking at Indian disinformation on the war between Hamas and Israel. Some accounts are accusing the Palestinians of using crisis actors. Tell us more about this.
That's right, Tom. It's the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. There's this 26-second video that's been a viral video that's been circulating amongst Indian social media accounts with Islamophobic and pro-Israeli tendencies. A video that alleges to show Palestinians staging their war injuries.
Synchronicity between India and Israel also extends to the economic realm, with the Modi and Netanyahu relationship helping secure deals that will funnel billions of dollars into Israeli startups and other businesses at a time when Israel faces growing economic isolation stemming from the growing boycott movement.
Out there. Now, if you've been keeping up, you can already see a trend. Indian companies are acquiring some of the largest companies in Israel, and these are not just the sole acquisitions out there. That should immediately set in stone just how important Israel has become to India and vice versa. Finally,
a new report shows that the Israeli regime plans to permanently replace Palestinian workers with 81,000 foreign workers this year, with a majority to come from India. It's important you know what's happening in the background between India and Israel, because the genocide taking place in Gaza will continue long after the bombs stop falling on the Palestinian territory, particularly given Israel has telegraphed its intent to forcibly expel survivors to Egypt, a move that will bring further economic and diplomatic isolation to the Zionist state. Which means that Israel will need powerful friends and allies like India to keep its economy afloat. So, if our efforts to liberate the Palestinian people are to be highly effective, then we must identify and include Indian products in the Boycott Israel movement. This will not only help save Palestinians from further injustice, but also hundreds of millions of Muslims in India and Kashmir.